Tonight's NPP minority in Parliament slams Speaker of Parliament, accusing him of unfairly targeting the minority in his decision to suspend 4 MPs for their various roles in the chaos that unfolded at the appointment committee on Thursday night.
It's Monday, and the most arrogated powers that he does not have unto himself, even where there are contempt proceedings, which would trigger a breach of privilege and by extension the need for certain actions to be taken. A committee must be set to look into this.
We have details as the National NPP party accused Alban Bagbin of being selective and displaying autocratic tendencies. More from Parliament, where the special committee tasked by the Speaker to investigate the chaos at the appointment committee sets Wednesday to hold a public hearing into the matter.
This work is to look for evidence of any member of Parliament who may have flouted the rules of engagement in this House.
Details here on Top Story brought to you by Telecel, connecting energies and holy insecticide spray and coil. Enjoy a holy sleep. Well, tonight, the NPP minority in Parliament are cutting through Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin, accusing him of unfair treatment, targeting members of the NPP in his unprecedented decision to suspend 4 members of the House. It will be recalled that the Speaker on Friday suspended 4 MPs, 3 on the side of the NPP, Frank Anodompre, Jerry Ahmed Shaib and Hassan Tampoli, and 1 NDC MP, Roxanne Nelson Dafiamapo, for their alleged involvement in the chaos that unfolded at the appointment committee sitting on Thursday evening. Now, in a terse 5-page memo to the Speaker, Minority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin demands a withdrawal of the suspensions. Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante was in Parliament and joins me in studio with details. Kweku, let's start from the claim of the minority that the Speaker violated the Constitution and standing orders in his decision.
So let's start from the constitutional violation that they allege the Speaker of Parliament did when he purported or actually did suspend 4 MPs. They say he has violated Articles 19 and 23. That is the right to fair hearing of these 4 MPs. And I quote, it says, "Right Honourable Speaker, the right to a fair hearing is an entrenched constitutional provision under Article 19 of the Constitution. This right extends to disciplinary actions within Parliament as well as measures that can significantly impact an MP's duties and representation of constituents." They also cite Article 23 in this matter and other case. They say, "Right Honourable Speaker, in view of the aforementioned authorities, it follows that by suspending the 4 members without a formal investigation and without affording them a chance to defend themselves, the process violated Article 19, the right to fair hearing, Article 19, 2C and D, right to be informed of charges and given time to respond, and Article 23, the duty to act fairly and reasonably, and then finally, Order 36, which require the suspension beyond a day follows proper investigation." If you look at the other issues with regards to the standing orders that they raise, they talk about the fact that the standing orders of Parliament provide clear and unambiguous procedures for disciplining members. And they cite Order 33, 129, and 130, which states that allegations of disorderly conduct or contempt of Parliament must, where appropriate, be referred to the Committee of Privileges and Immunities. The committee must conduct an investigation and submit its report, and then a decision on sanctions must be debated and voted on by the House before it takes effect.
Now, they further then go ahead to say that the Speaker did not have the authority he purports to exercise. Did they give any reasons to back that?
So they say that, Right Honourable Speaker, as you may be aware, committee sittings are officially parliamentary sittings, and therefore the rules of the House, except as otherwise stated, apply to all formal committee meetings. And Order 35 provides what they quote the law, and they say, "In your formal communication to the House, you rightly characterize the disorderly conduct at the appointment committee as contemptuous parliamentary infacy parliamentary, a grave violation occurring directly in the face of Parliament." This description, however, further reinforces the point that the power to address such contempt or conduct at a committee sitting rests solely with the presiding officer, that is the chairman of the committee at the time of the incident. And they argue that it is the chairman, by way of this order, that should have taken those steps and not the Speaker of Parliament.
Interesting. Now, why do they feel that the NPP MPs have been unfairly targeted?
Yes.
What is their demand on the Speaker in this memo?
Well, according to Alexander Afenyo-Markin in this memo, he says, while the incident complained of is regrettable, there is a growing perception that the minority caucus has been disproportionately targeted in disciplinary measures. The decision to suspend 3 minority members as against 1 member of the majority caucus without allowing them due process cast an unfortunate political overtone on the Speaker's impartiality. This is deeply concerning, as the Speaker must remain a neutral arbiter who upholds fairness for all parties in Parliament. Their claim is that given that 3 NPP MPs have been suspended and only 1 NDC MP, it would appear the Speaker unfairly targeted their side. And they have 4 demands on the Speaker. 1, the suspension of the 4 MPs must be reversed immediately as it lacks the required procedural and legal foundation. 2, that ad hoc committee constituted under Orders 5 and 24 must be dissolved immediately, and that the Committee on Privileges and Immunities be urgently constituted in accordance with the standing orders, and the matter be referred to the committee for full and proper investigation for subsequent action. Again, Alexander Afenyo-Markin is requesting for a formal meeting, and he says, I humbly request to meet you at your earliest convenience, preferably before Tuesday, 4th February 2025, to discuss these grave concerns, explore remedial actions, and chart a dignified path forward. So that is that 5-page test statement that have been sent to the office of the Speaker by way of a memo.
Now, earlier they also addressed the news conference where they are talking about escalating this particular matter to the National Party.
Well, yes, they in fact cite some of the breaches that they allege have occurred in the Speaker's action, which we have cited for you, but also talk about the fact that their national party is in full support of the action that they've taken. In fact, at this news conference, the chairman of the party, Stephen Ayesu in team, as well as the General Secretary, Justin Kodia Frimpong, were all in Parliament to offer their support.
His mandate, and in the process, arrogated powers that he does not have unto himself. Even where there are contempt proceedings, which would trigger a breach of privilege, and by extension, the need for certain actions to be taken, a committee must be set to look into this. On this occasion, Mr. Speaker was dealing with a disorderly conduct which took place at the committee level, where the chairman of the committee had a mandate to deal with the matters. He now says that he has, on his own, suspended these members without hearing them. The chair of the committee did not communicate anything to the Speaker. Neither did the Speaker invite any of us in leadership for any discussion. In any event, even where there is punishment, our rules are clear. It can be for 4 days, 8 days, or 12 days according to order wanted. We have escalated the matter to our party level. NPP Minority Caucus is a wing of the NPP in Parliament. So we have also communicated this matter to party headquarters. The national chairman, the general secretary, and the national executives have become aware of this, and they take the matter seriously. They are not taking it lightly at all. They believe that the diplomatic channels must remain open. But we want to say this with emphasis. This mighty few, this happy few, will not allow itself to be intimidated.
Well, so that is Alexander Afenyo-Markin there when he was addressing the press earlier in Parliament. But again, on the same matter, he speaks about, in his opinion, what is the legal status of the vetting of ministerial nominees conduct after they had left?
So right after this chaos ensued, the next morning they did continue the vetting with Samuel Okudzusa Blakwa. But along the line, upon hearing that the Speaker of Parliament had suspended some of their MPs, they decided to recuse themselves, especially as the Speaker had said that the committee be reconstituted. And so they say that having left, the committee did an illegal job, and their consideration is that all the other persons they vetted were simply not vetted in a legal sense.
As we concerned, that was an illegality. They defied Mr. Speaker, even though Mr. Speaker said we should stop proceedings and reconstitute the committee. So it's illegal. It's a nullity. It's odious. We cannot be part of it, and we'll make our position known on the House floor. To court the last time because all doors for engagement were shut. On this occasion, the doors of engagement have not been shut yet. We are going to engage Mr. Speaker. We want to give reverence to his high office. We want to engage him. He's a Democrat. We believe that with his years of experience, minority leader, majority leader, second deputy, and now speaker, we are going to engage him. And I'm sure with the posture of the majority leader ready for us to meet with him, I pray that we're able to do everything so that tomorrow will be a happy day for all of us.
So that's Alexander Afenyo-Markin there on this matter. But before you leave, the NPP also has a statement out taking on the speaker after they joined the minority in parliament to have this press earlier.
Well, yes, according to this statement signed by Justin Kodia-Frimpong, he says the party has learnt with scorn that the Right Honourable Speaker on Friday unilaterally suspended its members of parliament. He says the party sees this as selective, autocratic posture of the speaker as very dangerous, with all these actions packaged to cow the minority into submission, consequently weakening its potential to hold the government accountable. The party calls on all in capital, especially its honourable members of parliament, to be assured of the party's unflinching support at all material times and fully support the press conference of the minority caucus and its subsequent briefings. In this spirit, the party wishes to state that it does not accept the decision of the Speaker to suspend its members, which is in flagrant disregard for the Constitution of the Republic as well as the rules of natural justice. And it says the party reiterates its position that it stands with its 88 gallant honourable members to address all form of repression and unfairness in the application of the rules governing Parliament and the nation. Signed, Justin Kodia-Frimpong, General Secretary of the party.
So until this suspension elapses, these 4 MPs cannot go to Parliament.
In fact, that is the understanding we got from the ruling of the Speaker. And when the Speaker did deliver that ruling, another Umpreh was in the chamber. He left immediately after that. Jeriam Shaib was also at the appointment committee. He also left. But today at the news conference, both MPs, together with Hassan Tampoli, the third NPP MP to have been suspended, were all there. We do not know yet if the understanding of this is that it only is limited to committees and chamber, and perhaps that they could go to their offices and do other things. Because mind you, the Speaker in his ruling or his communication did say that those persons who have been suspended who hold offices must hand over their responsibilities to other persons to act within the 2 weeks that they stay suspended.
Well, the chairman of the committee investigating the chaos at the vetting of ministerial nominees, which, of course, is the genesis of all of these suspension issues, Emmanuel Bejra, has assured the probe is not aimed at unfairly targeting any member of parliament. He also announced the committee will hold public hearings from Wednesday.
The committee wishes to announce that we have decided to hold a public hearing of all the issues starting from Wednesday here in Parliament House at 10 a.m. prompt. We shall expect members of Parliament, the media, the guests who were present at the vetting room, as well as members of the general public, to voluntarily appear to assist the committee with the relevant information on the incident. The committee has created a digital platform, a WhatsApp platform, where we shall receive multimedia evidence, including videos, audios, and tests to facilitate a speedy execution of the committee's tasks. The committee has decided that it will solicit the service of a forensic expert from the Ghana Police Service to assist with the authentication and analysis and validation of any multimedia evidence that will be received from the witness. Starting from this morning or this afternoon, we will start viewing some of the video evidences that Parliament has. The committee would like to place on record that it is not part of its job to target or witch hunt anyone. And I want to repeat it. We are not here to witch hunt any of our colleagues or members of Parliament. This work is to look for evidence of any member of Parliament who may have flouted the rules of engagement in this House.
This is Top Story, always brought to you by Telecel, connecting energies and holy insecticide spray and coil. Enjoy a holy sleep. Let's bring in John Darko Esquire. He is Member of Parliament for Swami, and he joins us on the telephone lines. I'm grateful to you for joining us. How else were you expecting the Speaker of Parliament to deal with this particular matter?
It's interesting. I'm shocked that my colleague, Mr. Bedra, sees that this is a very well legalized committee set up, and that he is calling for evidence, and that he's going to watch video evidence of what somebody has done or did not do. Look, I think that we are on a slippery slope right now. The NDC cannot approbate and reprobate at the same time. When the Speaker made the order, or when he brought his statement, they violated the Speaker's order. When the Speaker said that he had, by his order or by his statement, reconstituted the appointment committee, they believed that the Speaker didn't have that authority. And so they went ahead and then vetted these ministers. So at one point, they believed that the Speaker didn't have authority to make that decision. That's why they violated the Speaker's order, in spite of the fact that the minority had brought to the attention of the chairman of the appointment committee and the NDC members on the appointment committee that this is the Speaker's position, that the committee be reconstituted. Now, the Speaker, in his communication, sets up a committee on his own to investigate a matter. And these colleagues of ours believe that this is legal and that for this particular one, they'll be part of it and have started talking about meeting people and taking evidence. Look, what basis does the Speaker have to set up a committee? And as a country, we need to understand that anything we do must be grounded in law, either in the Constitution and if it's in Parliament, by a standing order. Look, I've looked through the standing order, right? And I've always said that I'm waiting to be educated. Can the Speaker set up a committee to investigate any matter? I believe the answer is no. If you look at Order 262 of our standing order, it is titled Special or Ad Hoc Committee. And it reads that the House, and listen, it didn't say the Speaker. The Speaker is not the House. It says that the House may, by a motion, appoint a special or an ad hoc committee to A, investigate any matter of public importance, and then 2, consider any bill or enactment. So in this particular matter, we are looking at to investigate a matter of public importance. It has to be decided by the House, and we go through a motion. The Speaker is not the House, and there hasn't been any motion. The Speaker on his own, Swoboto, cannot set up a committee. And the interesting thing is that he puts members on it. And if you look at his communication, it says that on this, no member can refuse to be on the committee. And that I have put you there, whether you like it or not, stay on this committee and work. What kind of republic are we building? We are not in a banana republic. There's a reason why we have our constitution. There's a reason why we have our standing orders. There's a reason why we have the Parliament Act on all the various acts. They are supposed to guide and guard us so that we don't veer off the straight and narrow path.
Okay.
What is happening is very dangerous. The Speaker is arrogating to himself powers he doesn't have, and we shouldn't tolerate that. We need to challenge the authority of the Speaker. And look, when you talk to the members of the committee, I believe our members will not join for sure, but our members are not going to be part of this illegality. But when you talk to the NDC members, ask them, what authority does the speaker have to set up a committee? Apart from Order 362, there's no provision that gives the speaker authority to set up a committee. And so we challenge that as well.
So you're challenging the setting up of the committee by the speaker. But does the House currently have a privileges committee?
No, so you see, we have all the committees. So outside all the committees, the House may appoint a committee to investigate a matter which is important to the Republic or a special matter. So that is why I read the Order 362 to you. That
Yes.
the House may, by a motion, appoint a special committee, which may be ad hoc or call it a special committee. Okay?
So
investigate anything that we deem to be necessary.
So in this
It will
case,
give the Speaker the power to set up this committee.
so when
The 362 is clear.
when you say the House and you say the speaker is not the House,
Yes, the Speaker is not the House. The House is made up of the members plus a person presiding.
okay, so how should this committee have been formed if the House, as you explain, was the one to have done the appointment?
Well, so a motion will be brought by the person who want to bring either the minority leader or the majority leader, and will be seconded, and then the Speaker may, pursuant to the motion, rule that okay, a committee be set up. So, for instance, if there's a serious issue and needs parliamentary inquiry, a member or generally the leaders may, by motion, ask the Speaker, and the Speaker will agree, and then in fact, generally, when you set up such a committee, the leadership of the committee will have to be consulted. And then based on the numbers they have and the people they want to be part of the committee, then they can suggest the members of the members to the committee. The Speaker cannot on his own decide that I have appointed you come and join this committee. It doesn't happen like that. It doesn't happen anywhere.
Okay.
And we shouldn't allow that to happen.
So will we see the minority take this matter up in court to challenge the speaker?
Well, our leaders will look at that. But I think I can assure you that our members are not taking part of this illegal committee which has been set up. We are not going to be part of it.
So your members who have been suspended will not avail themselves to the committee?
No, this committee is illegal. In fact, our members haven't been suspended. What happened was illegal. Look, it hasn't happened. Nothing has happened. In our view, nobody has been suspended. When you don't have power to do an act, whatever you do
Okay,
so it hasn't even happened. But I'm trying to get a word. But the point, you cannot build something on nothing. The Speaker did not have the authority to suspend anybody. So in our view, nobody has been suspended.
Okay, but do you have disorderly conduct as part of your standing orders, or that 129? Do you have that in your standing orders? Because I
will read Order 35 to you.
I read that 1294. It says where the member, minister or deputy minister disregards the authority of the speaker to withdraw, the speaker shall invite the marshal to act on the order, and the speaker shall suspend the member, minister or deputy minister from the service of the House for a period not exceeding 4 sitting days. So the speaker,
you see, you have to read 129. 129 is quite different.
Okay.
If you look at 35, let me read 35, Order 35 to you. If you look at Order 35, which deals with disorderly conduct generally, and if you have the rules book with you, open page 25, okay, and the Order 35, it talks about punishment for contempt of parliament or breach of parliamentary privilege, and it's titled exclusion of disorderly member. Exclusion of disorderly member.
Okay.
And it says that where, in the opinion of the person presiding over the House, a committee, the conduct of a member is grossly disorderly, the person presiding may order the member to withdraw from the premises of Parliament, and that member shall immediately leave the premises and shall not enter the premises again during the remainder of the day.
Okay.
So the one that gives the Speaker the right to ask you to leave for disorderly conduct under Order 35 will ask you to leave for the remainder of the day.
Okay. All right.
All right. Now, when it comes to 129 and 130, you must have been found to be contempt And you can only be found to be contempt when the Privileges Committee has sat and made a determination.
Okay. All right. Let me bring in lawyer Samson Ladi Ayenini. He is a private legal practitioner. Samson, grateful to you for joining us here. I mean, do you also agree that the speaker was going above his powers?
So, Grace, you would realize that we may have been the first to raise the issue in reference to the laws or the standing orders on newsfile on Saturday. As part of my preparation for the show, normally I do a certain check. If there is any matter and there is any law relating to that matter, I'll first check with that law. So I went to read the standing orders and I found that whilst in Order 35 of the standing orders, the Speaker has a certain power. And that power is for the Speaker to ask a member to withdraw from the House. The particular order, let me read it to you. It says, exclusion of disorderly member. So if you have conducted yourself in a disorderly way, you could be excluded. When you read that, it says that where in the opinion of the person presiding over the House or a committee, the conduct of a member is grossly disorderly, the person presiding may order the member to withdraw from the precincts of Parliament, and that member shall immediately leave the precincts and shall not enter the precincts again during the remainder of the day's sitting. So this particular one is how I began my inquiry, and I found that you would say it is clear on the face of this particular order that if it was a committee that was conducting a proceeding, it is the chairperson of the committee, because the rule says the person presiding. So it would have been a Ahiafo's job, another Ahiafo's job, the first deputy speaker's job, to make an order for those people to be excluded from the proceedings for the disorderly conduct. But again, that would have been limited to that day. Then the inquiry goes further to see if the speaker has any such powers. And then you go to the provision you just looked at. Now, that provision clearly is about contempt proceedings. But even before Order 35, you see in Order 34 that the Speaker has a power to make a referral when there is a certain development that has happened, especially including matters of contempt, to make a referral. But the order clearly says the referral must be to a specific committee. The committee is named, and that committee is a committee of privileges, so that they will give a hearing and make a finding. Osei Mensah Bonsu has the experience that I don't have, that those you are even speaking to on the show will not have as far as parliamentary proceedings are concerned.
Okay, all right.
He was of the view that the Speaker could set up the committee that he has set up, but he could not purport to give the suspension that he had done. So if you read the provisions about the suspension is for, as in 129 and 130. The suspension is a result of a contempt hearing by a privileged committee before the suspension can kick in.
Okay. All right.
Otherwise, when we first heard about it, you would have thought that this is normal, or it is the standard you find in any organization. In law and in most organizations, or almost all organizations, you will see that the processes allow, including even the processes for, as it were, punishing a civil servant or a public servant, you find allows that immediately the thing has happened, there would be an interdiction. So you can say the suspension will be equated to the interdiction. And then a committee is set up, a disciplinary committee is set up to look into the matter and then prefer sanctions if the person is found guilty. But in this case, it doesn't appear that the Speaker has an option for as long as their standing orders have provided the manner in which what ought to be done is done.
Okay, all right. I'm grateful to you, Lawyer Samson Ladi-Ayanini, for this education. This has been Top Story, brought to you by Telecel and Holding Insecticide Spray and Coil. Up next is News Night.